My name is Jeff St Laurent, and this is the Tuesday Live Show. And today's topic is vulnerability and your business, how to combine the two. This is a different show. I always like to say I'm excited to be here. And today, I don't know how I'm at. And I'll tell you why when we get going. And that's where the vulnerability comes in. And hopefully it works for you. And hopefully you learn a lot from this in terms of how you can become just real and vulnerable and authentic in your business, and how that relates to you growing your business in terms of you getting paid and ultimately creating a full-time coaching business, because that's what I do. I help coaches transition to a full-time business. I do record all these Tuesday live shows, and I put them on my website, sellingcoaching.com, under the university. I have great resources there. Like, as I said, I help coaches transition to a full-time business. And right on the homepage, I have a little thing where I say, get my dog, grab your free gift and the dog is yours. And you can enter your name and email address. And obviously I'm not giving away my dog. I have a great resource called the Launching Your Full-Time Coaching Business, the First 3 Vital Steps. So if you go ahead and enter your name and email address there, you'll instantly receive a copy of that. You'll have access to that. It's actually an audio training course. So with that being said, we're talking about vulnerability today. And this kind of stemmed from yesterday. And I had a client and a group coaching client, and I was kind of in a fog. And the reason why is, well, if you go to sellingcoaching.com on the homepage, where I'm giving away my dog, that was my dog Cosmo. And he's been with us for 14 years. And last night we had to put him down. So as you can imagine, yesterday and even today, I'm kind of like in a fog. It was a rough day, to say the least. Those of you that have pets know that this is it's hard. And I'm okay for the moment, and I'm going in and out of these moments, but it was tough. And I was sitting there trying to come up with, Monday's my day where I send an email to my audience. I come up with the topic for my show today. And I was just like, I just wanted to get out of the office. And, I was taking the afternoon off, spend some time with my family, with my son, my girlfriend, before I went in, and we have to do what we have to do. And I wasn't going to not do my show today. And I wasn't going to not write my email. I wasn't going to not serve my clients, but also I had to come from this space where I didn't know what I was doing. Even today, I had a client this morning. It was actually a fantastic session, but sometimes when I found myself trying to communicate my words, I was like, ugh, like my brain was just like retarded, and it just wasn't happening. Even now, I don't really know what I'm saying, but I do. But the point is that I didn't want to not do the show, and I didn't want to not do the email. And I had a reason, right? But I wanted to serve, and I wanted to not pretend that everything was okay, because it wasn't, right? So I had to come from this space of just where I was, and where I was I didn't really give a crap, right? I didn't really give a crap about the show or the email or any of that stuff. I just wanted to kind of be with my family and things like that. But there are times in our life where, as much as we want everything to stop and we want to cancel everything and just do nothing, there's sometimes the show kind of has to go on, right? We've just got to do things. And I have a responsibility to my business and you all, and it doesn't mean I don't have my time. Trust me, I have my time. I've got plenty of time to myself and my privacy and with my family and things like that, right? But there's times in our world where we just can't just cancel things and do things. And yes, in your business, you can. That's the great thing about your business. I'm here to show you that, number one, there are some times where, yes, you should. Absolutely, you should, right? But there's also times where you shouldn't. And things do go on. But when they do go on, you don't want to just pretend nothing's wrong. You don't want to just pretend or ignore that and just stuff it aside. Now, I'm not here bawling my eyes out and things like that, but my energy is different today, right? And it is what it is. But I want to show you that not only will the show go on, or should the show still go on, but show up where you need to show up from. Like today I'm showing up where I need to show up from. It's not maybe my usual enthusiastic, optimistic self. I'm just here. I'm present. And sometimes just being present is what you deserve to be for your audience. And how I'm bringing this to show you the power in your business is because this is where people connect with you from, because you're real. I remember back when I was in the fitness industry years ago, and I was younger, a lot younger, and I was in incredible shape. And, it seemed as if everything in my world was awesome, right? It seemed, oh, look at you, you're in phenomenal shape, and, you're supposedly in a happy marriage, and you've got the house with the white picket fence, so to speak, and you're doing what you love, and you're earning good money, and blah, 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 right? When in reality, I mean, yeah, I had a lot of the good things going for me, but I also had a lot of crap going on because I'm a human being. And that means, at a certain age, you deal with a lot of crap. I mean, my 13-year-old boy was with us last night when we put our dog down, and this is him starting to realize life's hard, and you open your heart up to people and things and hopes and dreams, and you have losses and you fail and you get crushed sometimes a lot of the times. And that's the reality of doing this, right? But you start to come from that authentic, and you start to share from that space, right? And what happens is you're real. And where I was coming from in that space, as I said, was in the fitness industry, is I never showed that side. Not because I didn't want to, I just didn't know how. I didn't know the value of it. I didn't think that I needed to, because I was, in the fitness industry, I was on stage, and I was helping change people's lives, health-wise, physically, right? I'm doing it differently now as a coach, and then also as a mentor coach, right? It's how it's transformed with my career. But I didn't know how, and I didn't know the value of it. No one ever showed me or told me it. And I just did what I thought I was supposed to do. And that was just go up there, and whether my one-on-one personal training clients or on stage as a group fitness instructor or presenter, and just kick butt and push. And that's what I did, and then I got some feedback, after doing it for 8-9 years or whatever. And so when I started sharing some of that side of me, and I would show up at a class and in a raw mood, maybe pissed off or whatever it was. And it was different. And I started sharing some of those things about me, and I never wanted to make it about me. And it never was, right? Even this isn't about me. I'm just opening up a piece of my world, right? And when I started to share that, it was amazing, the difference and the connection I had with people. People come up to me after class, and now they're like, that was one of your best classes ever. And I'm like, really? Because I'm like, I thought it sucked. And because I wasn't in a good space, and I didn't know how that would come across. And they're like, the best part about it is we got to know you, and you shared you. I was like, oh. And they're like, for once you were real. You weren't this perfectly molded body person and this perfect world of whatever people perceived me as, right? I didn't try and portray that, right? It's just that people perceive you. If you don't shape it yourself, and, through the words and things that you share, people just interpret and they assume and they judge, good or bad. And that's what they had assumed and interpreted. And it wasn't a bad thing. It just wasn't a very connectable type person, even though they enjoyed what I was doing. And that's when people started really connecting with who I was as a person. And I started to see the difference it made in my classes and with my personal training clients and things like that. And I carried that over into my coaching, in terms of when I started my coaching business back in 2004, 15 years ago, and started sharing more of myself. And I didn't make it all about me, but I shared those stories. And I've seen that develop over the last 15 years in terms of the people that have stuck with me, even when whatever I'm talking about now isn't of interest to them because maybe they're not a coach, right? They're maybe some of my personal training clients or people that I've worked with in State Farm or people that I've life coached 10 years ago, whatever, within my business, and now they're part of this community, even though I'm, doing selling coaching, helping coaches transition to a full-time business and have nothing to do with that, right? They follow me. They like me. They like my message, who I am, what I represent, right? And this is what I'm bringing to you today is how do we combine that vulnerability with our business? And what that does is I'm not saying show up every day. And if you're in a raw space or upset or up or down or whatever, it's like, yeah, like be where you need to be. And you don't have to be completely transparent and sharing all of the gory and messy details. And it's not a venting session and a session for you to, your eyes might water or just whatever, however you show your emotion. What I'm saying is just show up from that space and share the details every now and then. If you're in my email community, like I said, go to sellingcoaching.com, not only answer your name and email address to get my free resource, but so you could be in my email community, so you can read my emails on a weekly basis. You don't have to read all of them, you read some of them, but start to see how I share, start to see how I use that to communicate with my audience, and sometimes I'll share some personal things of what's going on in my world. And then sometimes it's just what's happening with my clients and stories in the world or whatever. And I relate that back to us as coaches, right? But I take people on a journey, and I want to take you on that journey. And part of that journey is what I'm teaching, but it's also part of my world. This will be a part of your world, and your world always isn't fantastic, nor is it hopefully always miserable either, right? Hopefully. And so when you begin to share that and the details you care to share or are willing to share, because not all the details should be shared either, people begin to connect with you, especially your story and why you do what you do and how that comes from a place of passion and purpose and experience and rawness and vulnerability, and how that leads into why you do what you do. When you share that on stage in a video, especially just a welcome video or why you do what you do in the about section of your website, or in an occasional live show like this, you get to that space where people see a part of themselves in you. They can connect with you because you're real. They're going through maybe something just like this, and they can appreciate what you're sharing, that they're not alone. If nothing, it gives them permission to feel the way they feel. It gives them, it validates their emotions. It helps them start to see a way forward. It helps them start to trust you and open up to you. And if we're ever going to be in a position where people want to hire us and trust us as a coach in this process, because there's so much trust. When people hire me, even now as a mentor coach, there's so much trust. They're paying me good money, and more importantly than the money aspect of it is this is their dream of their business, right? And what they want to create for themselves and their family. And this is how they're going to be earning the income, more than enough income to not only pay for the things that their responsibilities, but have more than enough to do other things like take trips and all the other pleasures in life, that what life's all about. It's a serious thing. So there's a lot of trust in that. And they've got to be able to open up to you and see you as a real person, especially with life coaching and any of those aspects we deal with, their careers, transitions, right? Like they're trusting in you, this space where they're being like raw and vulnerable and saying things to you that they'll never tell anyone else. Like of the hundreds of people that I personal trained and the hundreds of people that I've coached over the last 15 years, people have told me things that they've literally never spoken out loud, not even to themselves, never mind to another human being. Things that when you say out loud sound like harsh or bad or miserable or selfish, or you label it any way you want, right? And they're sharing these things with us as a coach in this confidential, safe space, right? So our ability to begin to go there when needed And when needed, it's like, oh no, you're not sitting there going, oh, it's time to be vulnerable. Like I'm just teaching you, especially today with what's going on. It just show up where you need to show up from, and trust that will do wonders. And I'll close with one of my clients yesterday in my group mentor coaching that I have, group mentor coaching group. That made sense. You gotta laugh at it too. He heard me saying this, you gotta show up, you gotta be vulnerable, come from the place of your story and your why. And when you show up there, especially at events, that's where your clients are gonna come from, because they're gonna see you as real. And it made sense to him, but he was so afraid to go there. He trusted what I was saying, and he did it at an event this past week. And it was cool because he shared with the group yesterday about what he did and the reaction of the people. And some people in the audience were crying, and the connection he made with those people. And he's like, Jeff, he's like, when he told me to do that, he's like, I knew I wanted to, but I didn't know how. And I was also scared of if it was too much. He's like, but I just trusted it and I did it. And he's like, it naturally came out. And he's like, the 2-hour event that we had turned into a 4-hour event, which is quite a difference. But still, he's like the reaction and the connection they made with the people, and now the follow-up he's having. And I know he's going to get some clients from that. We're in the process of helping him with that right now. But he's like, it's amazing what was created from that space. And he's like, I completely see how doing that on a regular basis, not just with live events, but my emails and my live videos that I do on a regular basis, how that's going to turn into growing a strong community, not only where he gets paying clients, but that people will follow him and trust him. And that's what building an audience, or as I say, our community is all about. And it's not just now, but it's in the long run. And hopefully from where I'm coming from today and sharing what I'm sharing today, not just with my experiences, but even from just your perception of it on the other end, as you watch this show and read the emails that I share of what it does for us, that we might not even talk, right? And maybe you're like, screw that, I hate that, it's horrible, it's too much, I don't like it, and you're out of here. That's okay. That's okay, because maybe it will be for some people. Maybe it's too much for some people, right? But that's okay. But in my experience, it's been fantastic. And hopefully for you, it does the same, and allows you, or it gives you permission, or it shows you the way to open up to your audience. And my own hope is that you get to see the results because you do it long enough and consistent enough over time